beautiful people. You're most welcome to Footprint with Betswell. Thank you so much for joining. Today, we continue our conversation on gender-based violence. The first part of this conversation with Queen Bell Sonke was all about discussed different forms of gender-based violence, ranging from financial to physical to emotional, which take place in different parts of our society, from offices to the streets and even to our homes. They're not so safe for us, and we mostly have women as victims, but we also have a lot of men who die in silence. So gender-based violence still stands out as one of the most prominent forms of human rights violation around the world, with mostly with women as the victims. So it's a cause for worry because it can be really, really dangerous, both to emotional and mental health as well as physical health, because in some cases it causes death. Unfortunately, gender-based violence is still so rampant and real in our communities. And so today we are going to be talking about the way forward. Like, where do we go from here? How do we get out of this trap of this evil cycle? So we are going to have our special guest, Queen Bell, the social justice advocate who was here with us last time. She is the founder of the Network for Solidarity, Hope and Empowerment, an association or an organization which holds space and seeks justice for so many victims of all forms of abuse, especially gender-based violence. So we're so blessed to have her on the platform. And today you'll realize that we are going to talk a lot about domestic violence, because it's like one of the most worrying forms, because the family is like the basic foundation of the society. And from there, we breed a lot of broken children and broken people. And that's why we are going straight to narrow down to domestic violence. We're going to talk about the way forward from domestic violence. So Queen Bell proposes or recommends things like therapy, building healthy relationships from scratch. She also recommends a mindful and constructive community intervention. And of course, she also talks about separation as subjects that many would not like to talk about. Please watch this video and let's hear what you have to say. How do we move forward from this situation of violence in our community? It could be the gender-based violence or just this domestic violence we're going to be talking more about today. But we'll definitely love to have your say. Please watch, like, comment, and share this video. Let's spread the word. Thank you so much for joining. Queen Bell, thank you for doing this.
It's like I hold space for men and women, and I will tell you something. I will never tell you leave your abuser. I will guide you. I will guide you on drawing healthy boundaries in your relationship.
All right.
Which is one of the reasons. Yeah, this is one of the reasons. Be it a man or a woman, you need to draw healthy boundaries in your relationship. There are some people who don't know what it means to have a healthy relationship. That is why this in abuse, because this is the only thing they've known. They've seen it. They've seen their parents abuse their mothers. You know, like things like that. They've known only abuse. You know, so they don't even know what it means to have a healthy relationship. So the only other thing is like taking them for therapy, asking them to go through therapy, holding space for them, talking with them. You know, like I know this tendency we women, society has gone up, but you wearing the shoe, you know what is right for you.
Yeah.
You alone, you are wearing the shoe and you know what is good for you. I would not tell you to leave a relationship. These are some of the challenges we have, because where are they living to go? They don't have resources. They don't have resources. Are you ready to support them? Can you house them in your place? You don't have space for them. So why are you telling them to go? The only challenge I usually have is like, you know, like people learning to have a healthy relationship.
Yeah, and it's worked. It's been working over the years. It's been working. It's actually been a solution. Okay.
You know, like, but you know, like that's why we keep on, why we are advocating, we're talking about communication. And not every kind of communication, because, you know, like in relationships, you have to know that it takes two to tango. I will tell you something for free. Sometimes families, you have some families that you never tend to them. And I'll always say something. You never talk about your partner to your family. Because, sometimes, like, most especially us women, I would tell men never to talk about their partners, their wives, to their relatives. Because, like, some of them might not like your wife. Some of them might not like your wife. Because, they have this entitlement mentality. You might be struggling in your house, trying to save face. But nobody sees it. The only thing that you have to give them, you have to only be removing. Sometimes it's even the woman who's keeping the house, but they don't see it that way, because of they're blinded. And with this entitlement mentality, they think the woman is a liability. Even women who work. Even some women, you have some families where it's the woman who is the breadwinner, but they're still not loved by their in-laws. I always tell mother-in-laws, that girl is your daughter, whether you like it or not. Your daughter, if you have girls, treat your daughter-in-laws the way you want your daughters to be treated by their mother-in-laws. This is a mistake we make. We forget that we too, even our sisters, we ill-treat our sister-in-laws, forgetting that one day we'll get married. For me, marriage is a communion of two families. So some families really, really should be out of the picture of solving problems, because some come and add pepper. Some come and add salt, making the relationship unedible.
So you have to be mindful who you talk to.
You have to be mindful. You have to be mindful. And as I always say, I will not even tell you to leave your relationship. You will take that decision. I will hold space for you. I have a young girl today. She reached out to me 1 month ago, explaining to me the circumstances. She's 24, explaining to me she got married. She has 2 kids. She explained her circumstances to me. Okay, what did I do? It's like, okay, I reached out to her, held space for her, and she gave me all her story, how she was abused by the husband. Like, she told me her story, everything. And I told her, you know what? You're going to take the decision that best suits you. I'm not going to tell you to leave your marriage. And, like, we've been working together. And I tell her, sometimes she'll ask me, oh, Mom, I have to go. And I'm like, if you think you want to go, it's your choice. I'm not pushing you out. It is your choice. You have to analyze. Have you talked with your husband? Have you told him you don't like this? Have you? You have to be able to build a healthy relationship. It's when you cannot build this healthy relationship that you have no choice than to leave.
Yeah, because if you're just one party, if it's just the man making all the efforts and the woman is not making any effort, then it can't work. It's just like, if it's just the woman making all the efforts, just like you were saying, it takes two to tango. You can't do it on your own. If you're working hard and the other person doesn't want to work, you can't perform magic, can you?
That is it. That is it. It takes two people to build a marriage. That's why for me, sometimes, like when we talk about religion, we talk sometimes about the role of religion in marriage. They tell the woman, pray, pray, pray. What are you praying for when the other person is not willing to pray? He's not willing for the thing to work. The marriage, you guys should want this thing to work. Both people need to want it to work. You cannot pray alone and the marriage works. The man too should make efforts. You cannot pray and change somebody. You're not going to change somebody. You met this person with a badly brought up man or a badly brought up woman, and you choose to get married to them. You just have to manage this person. You just have to manage. When you cannot take it anymore, you tell the person, I cannot take it anymore. That is it. You cannot be praying that they change. You cannot change them. Do not stay in abusive relationship because you think that your partner is going to change. No. While you were courting, you knew all these habits. And if you could not change them while you were courting, you cannot change them when you get married, because this thing is something that is in them. The person will have to make that choice to want to change, not you forcing them. You will never give them an ultimatum. If it's not okay with you, and then you leave the man or you leave the woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is it. We need to learn how to build healthy relationships.
Yeah. Communication, boundaries, healthy relationships mind who you talk about your relationship problems with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the two have to be able to make a conscious effort to make the relationship work. You can't, one party cannot be doing all the work and the other one is not doing the work. And just like you said, at the end of the day, it's you who wears the shoes. You know where it pinches. Yeah.
All right, we just raised the issue of separation. Unfortunately, separation is one very dicey issue when we're talking about violence, especially domestic violence. So, as a Christian who knows how much God loves marriage, it's actually a hard thing for me to talk about, you know. But when I think about it, I'm like, separation is also one of those solutions. I personally advocate for temporary separation because it's better that you run and live to fight another day than we having a dead hero in our hands, because you have to be alive to be able to fight for the marriage that God has blessed you with. So I know that a lot of Christians struggle with this. Not just Christians, a lot of people out there struggle with living, and so many victims of this physical abuse and emotional abuse and all forms of abuse in the home find themselves stuck in the situation, and they end up very broken, thereby raising broken kids who become broken adults, and sadly some people end up dead. So everyone keeps asking this question: why do people in abusive and toxic relationships, really toxic relationships, why do they stay there? Why do they feel stuck? Why can't they leave? It's a question that a lot of people are asking. Of course, we cannot really come up with perfect answers because those in the situation really understand what's going on, and we respect their choices. But it's still our duty to be able to encourage them to look out for the best for their kids or for themselves and for their family. So, yeah. Like I said, I'm an advocate for temporary separation. I don't know about you. You just leave a comment and let's continue to talk about this. So, why do you think people do not leave abusive relationships?
You meet a